Alrighty, everybody, here we are. This is pretty much the last thing that I'm going to show you on some Revit things before we get started on our Revit project on Tuesday. And this is something that I did not cover in class. So I'm just going to throw a roof on this building, and then I want to get a couple of external views. So I'm going to click on level 2. Now, right now, we can see that we've got level 1 ghosted in, but you'll notice that I can't select anything. This is on purpose. To see what's happening on the level below is right over here in this underlay center. My range of base level is on level 1. To make it all go away, I say, don't show me anything. Click apply. The thing is right now, I actually want to see what's on level 1 because I need to place a roof and I want to make sure that it lines up. So back on my architecture tab, I'm going to go to roof. Yes, I want to save my project. Okay. Wood rafter 8-inch with asphalt shingle and insulation. Yeah, why not? This is a pretty simple little thing. If we wanted to, we could do steel truss insulation on metal deck, or we could just go with generic. There's a bunch of different things. You know what? We'll just stick with a generic 12-inch roof for now. That's fine. Base level is level 2. So far, so good. And remember, we've got things, we're in our sketch mode now. And so the easiest way to create a roof is going to be to sketch and pick lines. Now you'll notice I've got this little slope indicator that's following me around. I actually don't want any slope whatsoever on this roof. None. So in order to fix that, well, if I wanted to place a boundary line, I can come over here and uncheck define slope before I even begin placing objects. I did not do that. I just went and started clicking like mad. But I can highlight all these objects and then uncheck defines roof slope. But I actually want a bit of an overhang here. So let's use my offset tool. 1 foot sounds pretty good, but I don't want to make a copy of it. Hold my mouse over there just a hair. I haven't left clicked yet. Push tab on the keyboard once. Do not hold it down. If you hold it down, it's going to start doing that, and then you'll wonder what's going on. So let's go back through there again. Hover your mouse on the side that you want to offset. Press tab on the keyboard just once. Left click. There's our roof. Done with my edit. Click there. There's my roof plan. And we could actually leave this on just so that the roof people know what's happening here, because they're going to need to coordinate a few items. And then the easiest way to look at it is when you go to your View tab, click on 3D View, and I can spin this thing around. This is my building, such as it is. Now to spin this around, I'm holding down my Shift key, and you'll see my cursor changes. It's got that little minus sign next to it. And then I'm clicking the middle scroll wheel, and I'm holding that down. And when I move to the left, it rotates the building that way. When I move to the right, and I can even move up and down, all that stuff is happening. It's all real time. But don't want to see things in black and white. I want to see things in color, so I can come up here to shaded. And my zoom tools will even work in here. I've got a little bit of conflict between my slab and the wall that's happening right here. Yeah, that's something that I would need to fix in the real world. You can see I've got a storefront running through here, and I took the time, not on the video, to actually swap out one of the panels for one of the glass panels for an actual swappable door. We can get to that in a little more depth in our in-class exercises next week. So that's our 3D view. Now this is a great 3D view, but it's just an axon. It's a 3D view, but there's no perspective on it. Not that there's a whole lot really worth looking at right now. But if I wanted to create a perspective view, I'll go to my floor plan. I'll zoom back a little bit. And on the 3D view, I'll use the drop down and I'll click on camera. And I can say, I want to stand here. One click. I want to look that way. One click. And then Revit will calculate what that 3D view looks like. I can say, give me some consistent colors, which just basically means it's not going to pay attention to light. So if I use shaded, you can see there's an artificial sun in here that's casting this side of the building in shadow. If I want a realistic, it's going to try and do some more realistic colors and textures. I could do photo rendering. Yeah, there we go. There's a realistic texture, and yes, this pattern looks repeating. It's not the most best pattern in the world. There is a way that you could actually create a custom pattern, so if you want to go into an image editor and you want to make sure that your pattern looks a lot less repeatable, you can do that. It's way beyond the scope of this class. And then the next view is going to be a ray trace. This one would actually take a while. And I think, yeah, right up here it says it's not responding. It's having to think way too hard. So I'm going to stop that. Stop. Close. Make it go away. And it looked like it was starting to show me something there, which wasn't all that bad. I just didn't want to have to wait for it. So most of the time I use the shaded view and it's fine. The nice thing about using the shaded view is it looks a little more SketchUp-y as opposed to doing a full rendering, which could make the client think that, well, I don't like that color brick. Is that what color the glass is really going to look like when it's out in the sun? The client tends to focus on that kind of thing when they see a rendering, as opposed to here's the size, this is the brick, this is the shape of something. That's the nice thing about SketchUp, is it took a lot of those things away, and it reminded the client that we're designers and we're looking at space and shape right now. So there's that. I'm going to go back to my level 1 plan. And I was basically placing a roof. Yeah, that might be a fun one to do. Yeah, I think I'll end up doing that real quick. One other thing that we can do, now you'll look, if I look through my project browser, I have what's called 3D view number 1. This is my perspective. Now, this is where we're going to start actually getting kind of confused as to what view is what. So I can come here and right click and say rename. And this is perspective 1. Okay. This level 1 call out 1, I can right click and say rename and say bathroom. Let's do it this way. Let's, yeah. Bathroom enlarged plan. We can still stick with level 1. Level 2 isn't level 2 anymore, really. We want to rename this one and say roof. And because it's connected with all the other things that are going on, do we want to rename corresponding levels and views? Yes. That way, when we look in our building section, we come over here, this is actually going to say roof instead of saying level 2. So now I can tell you right now, that teeny tiny amount of ceiling space in here, my mechanical contractor is not going to be happy with me because I did not leave him any room whatsoever to do his work. Which is where Revit being dynamic really comes into play, because I can say make the roof at 11 feet and it'll bump up the roof line. It'll bump up all the walls. I have no idea why it's giving me this. I don't have any precast elements in here, but now you can see, because my ceiling height is based on a certain number of feet from the floor, when the floor above moves, the ceiling doesn't. So that's kind of a nice thing there. Alrighty, that's roof plan and dynamic 3D view, and we'll see you guys in just a second.